Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 17 of our F1 2010 career. Yes, we return this weekend out for the first ever Korean Grand Prix, of course. If you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from Japan, don't go back, check it out. It was painful, it was brutal, and I'm gonna say, just avoid it at all costs. Go back, watch Singapore or Monza. They were much better races to check out from the recent videos. Quickly though, before we get into this one, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that has helped the channel tick over 2,000 subscribers already. I'm having a lot of fun with this game. I think for a lot of you guys as well, it's fueling some nostalgia. So if you're not already, please do consider hitting that sub button as well. But yeah, Japan went so badly, it's kind of tarnished my reputation. Yeah, Colin Collins is still banging on the motorhome door. He wants us still in the car ready for next season, but pretty much every other team now has basically zero interest in us, so we are completely reliant now on trying to beat Michael Schumacher in the World Championship, or at least in our rivalry towards the end of the campaign as well. We're 7 points back from him. I mean, 82 points in a HRT. Surely anybody would be lucky enough to sign us ready for next season. 3 races to go, though, of this World Championship, so 75 points still available. So technically, anybody from a Fernando Alonso and up is still in that World Championship hunt. But there's a fair chance that it's going to be just between Lewis and Seb come the end of the weekend. Constructors-wise as well, we are 12 points back from HRT. Renault have had a real resurgence of form to end up basically best of the rest at this stage of the campaign. But McLaren have probably got one hand on the Constructors' Championship trophy as well, mainly because Mark Webber keeps bottling races towards the end of the season. But yeah, like I said, a massive thank you to everybody for their continued support. Get yourself subscribed, and let's head then back to Korea. I think I know where I'm going on this track. I'll be really interested to see how many of you guys can remember this circuit, because I think, you know, maybe underrated in the world of Formula 1. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments below, but ultimately, yeah, kind of one of these, you know, this mad era back in the early 2010s, where Formula 1 ended up with quite a few new venues, and none of them stayed around. Obviously, Valencia went, I know that was the late 2000s. I guess Singapore stayed. But that kind of feels like it's, I guess it's not really from a different era, is it? But yeah, obviously, Singapore obviously has kind of stood the test of time, at least up to this point. But South Korea, this circuit was probably one of the most aggressive in terms of kind of their vision for this venue. As you'll notice on F1 2010, there's a lot of cranes around the place, there's a lot of work going on, a lot of other facilities around this circuit. They basically planned on building this circuit and then building a city kind of around it. It was steadily, you know, there were going to be tower blocks everywhere and things like that. Now, as far as I gather to this day, the track is basically completely abandoned. I don't think there's any real racing that goes on it. But yeah, they had such lofty aspirations for this venue. And then, I mean, it was built out in rice fields in the middle of nowhere, if I remember correctly, and just no one really came. I mean, people did show up for the Grand Prix, but even the first couple of races were mired with terrible weather and lack of lighting as well. But yeah, you'll notice, obviously, hopefully, if we make it to like F1 2012, F1 2013, that obviously this circuit kind of feels a lot more like a barren wasteland. But on F1 2010, they clearly set out high ambitions for it. There's someone, I think, just crashed into the back of me, but I don't know who that was. But coming to the end of my first run then, going to be a 43.3. We go slightly slower than Barrichello, but I think this is going to be a circuit where the AI are pretty good, as that is not the line through turn 1. I tell you what then, that first lap though, I've been doing a few more, but it is so tricky to try and get an entire lap hooked up around this circuit. There's a lot of really dangerous corners in this car. That's not going to do us any favours either. Lost the wing now. Yep, I'm the cause for those waved yellows. I mean, we're quicker than our Suari. We might have made it through anyway, but I'm not holding my breath. Well, we are very much now in last chance saloon here. Just a couple of minutes left on the clock. And we need to try and make sure that we find a bit more time. We have just about got enough for 2 runs. as long as I don't do anything stupid. I mean, we're not actually in the drop zone yet, but we are in P17, and I would expect Kamui Kobayashi is going to be able to improve. So I just don't think this is going to be a circuit where we have as much pace as we've seen at other venues. But I also don't feel like I've had a lap completely hooked up yet either. That is proving, though, to be quite difficult around this place, as there's just so many big curbs and so many just moments where you can lose half a second or so. Nice and tidy, though, through the run of Sector 1. So also, obviously, a lot of the braking points are just slightly earlier than you think they will be. Very much used to, obviously, modern-day Formula 1 machinery. And, of course, yeah, a lot more downforce, a lot more braking potential while in the cars as well. As, well, Adrian Suttle's just left me by and is now deciding he wants to have a fight with this again. And, well, he's lost his wings. Hopefully he's not going to be as much of a threat. That might have been my doing, but I do not care. They're completely flat through that S's. But then, yeah, down here, you're really just trying to throw the car around kind of the entire width of the circuit. And then up in towards these final few corners. Nobody has gone sub 100 seconds just yet. So what he's got his... Oh, he hasn't got his wing back. I don't know what's going on. I mean, this is not ideal, and we're just costing each other more time. Adrian, calm it, man. You're through into Q3. And now he's going to coast back off again, of course. Does he have a problem with me personally? I have no idea, but I've got to make sure that we at least get on and make sure that we start this final run then of the session as out of the final corner. I mean, we might still make it through. Luckily, Suttil has peeled into the pit lane. I'm going to mess around with the aero, but this is our last chance then. Like I said, we might still make it through anyway. I think we are the last car to start a run. And with the session time now expired, this has got to give us a better idea as to what the speed is going to be like in Q2. No! Oh, no. There you go. It's gone. It's gone. I think that's going to be session over then for us. We were annoyingly about 6 tenths up in Sector 1. There was clearly more speed in the car, but I think we've snuck through anyway. So all of that last run shenanigans was completely irrelevant. Well, there we go then. By the skin of our teeth, we have made it through into Q2 there at Kamui Kobayashi's expense. He, Sebastian Buemi, and then all of your other backmarket cars out in Q1. Hamilton, though, faster than Mark Webber and Sebastian Vettel. So it looks like McLaren and Ferrari are going to be... Sorry, McLaren and Red Bull even are going to be in the fight for pole this weekend. But once again, it seems to be your big top 5 teams that are probably going to make Q3, unless I can find well over another second. Right, but as we head out then into Q2, we need a lot less messing about now. We need to try and just get a clean, tidy run in early. I mean, the fact that my first run in Q1 ended up being the one that saw us through is honestly quite embarrassing, to be honest. But there's definitely at least another second in the car. If we absolutely hook it up, I reckon Q3 could still be doable. Often has been the case this season where we're kind of right on that threshold, but I've got to make sure we're consistent. That is where the points are awarded. This first run then, I've had to try and navigate my way around Mark Webber, so there's definitely been a little bit of time left on the table. And the final corner though, on the run back towards the flag. That's more like it. 42 flat. We go quicker than Robert Kubica. So very, very happy with that one. So we'll try and get all the way around the outside of Webber back through turn 1. I reckon a little bit more if we could dip into the 41s. That would probably be really good as... How has Webber suddenly gone fastest? He's right alongside me. The game literally makes up lap times, and that proves it there. That is hilarious. Yeah, Mark Webber's alongside us, and then suddenly just goes up to the top of the pile. But still battling then with the Red Bull man. So despite the fact I went quicker on that lap as well, it's still obviously giving him pole position. Like I said, it is quite funny, and I'm pretty certain it's something that is fixed for literally F1 2011, the very next game in the title. But yeah, F1 2010 does kind of make everything up. It's not real. It's just a video game. Oh, no. No! I've just head back out onto the circuit then, right at the end of Q2, and I didn't realise it started raining. Oh, ha, ha! I mean, Vitaly Petrov had just gone quicker than us by about a tenth of a second. I mean, we saw this back in Singapore, though, and lap times were not affected. Could we still make Q3? This is going to have to be a Herculean effort, a bit like Charles Leclerc back in Brazil. I think it was 2018, wasn't it, where he still was able to improve. Even though the track conditions were beginning to deteriorate. What can we do, though, here as we start our final run in qualifying? We've got to try and get up the order. I've got to try and see if we can get kind of in that fight with Michael Schumacher. Because Mercedes and Renault, they seem to be in the fight right at the back of the kind of top 10 group, kind of scrabbling in and around those points there. Turn 1, turn 2, grip still felt pretty good then, as we make our way down the longest straight in towards turn 3. The only time you'll use 7th gear around this venue and braking just before the end of that wall on the outside there. Nice and tidy down through the hairpin. Try to avoid the exit curb there and pass the support pit lane as well. In towards Sector 2, we will start to see a bit more traffic perhaps. Oh, big lock up there. Big slide on the way in. Luckily, the rear of the car kind of finding the grip and allowing us still to tip the nose in. Maybe cost us a little bit of time, but we'll see what the gaps are looking like as we head out of Sector 1. Are we still in contention? We're 4 tenths down at the moment. It's not great, but it's also not the end of the world there. Completely flat through both parts of those S's. Get up on the outside curb there, really then throw the car in. Trying to maximise the width as best as I can. Flick the car through that next corner. Session time has now expired, so nobody else will be able to improve there. It's running a little bit wide through that corner. But I like to go for a bit of a later double apex than maybe some of the AI do. 8 tenths down, though, in towards these final couple of turns, so I'm going to have to try and throw caution to the wind as we make our way through these final couple of corners. Take the risk, throw the car up on those curbs, get the throttle down. That final turn, we're going to absolutely mount it, and the car sits flat on the exit. 5th gear on the exit of the final corner, short run back towards the line. It won't be enough. We end up P11. There we go, 300th the gap to Vitaly Petrov come the end of the session, but that is agonising. At least we're close to the points though, as we head into the race. Well, here we are then on the grid, ready for an incredibly soggy Korean Grand Prix. 5 red lights are coming on. We've got Michael Schumacher right alongside us, and it's lights out. Oh, and away we go there, trying to avoid the wheel spin through the initial launch, but turn 1, I'm sure here is going to be incredibly treacherous. Just trying to take, whoa, a little bit of a wide line there. Is all this contact behind me? No idea who that was getting involved. Really tricky trying to get the throttle down then off of turn 2. But I mean, we haven't lost a spot off the start, so I guess I can't complain about that. Gonna make sure I got the wing in the up position as we make our way down the back straight. And look at that, how early the AI on the brakes there around the outside of Michael Schumacher. And maybe both of those Renaults as well there, as we'll try to get the power down on the exit. And listen to that then, having to really modulate the throttle. But we will get around Kubica temporarily. Oh! Kubica's just completely destroyed the back of Nico Rosberg. That's going to be Rosberg immediately, I would assume, out of this Grand Prix. I would think Kubica's probably gone as well. But a crazy moment then is what's going on in front of me. I've got a penalty? Ignoring yellow flags? What? I didn't even get past Massa in the end. They've just, everybody slowed up. No idea what to make of that one then. So a penalty very early on in this GP there, but as we try and wind our way down through the exit, at the end of Sector 2, come on, no, come on, get the car back in the right direction. We're going to hand, I think, a spot to Vitaly Petrov as well then in that moment, so already then we've allowed our top runners to try and scamper away from everybody else. There is only a 50% chance of rain though in this race, so we could see the circuit dry up a little bit later on. I'm going to try, though, and leave this penalty until the very last moment to try and deal with, because I think there's going to be a lot of kind of cars filtering out all over the place early on in this race. There as Petrov, bounces, up over that inside curb. I find an avenue down the inside. Luckily, Petrov kind of gives me the room on the exit. But by the end of that one, then, we are up inside your top 10. But annoyingly, yeah, penalty. It's not going to do us any favours there, as back through that first corner. Everybody, yeah, just trying to filter their way through. But nobody wants to be the one to make a mistake.
Slower cars just ahead of you. Be aware.
Oh, whoa, hello. I've just been punted. Was that Barrichello crashing into the back of me? I think it was. So clearly, yeah, some of the AI very confident on the brakes, as we saw with Kubica last time. But some of them really struggling with it. Barrichello then has just absolutely mugged me off clean around the outside there. But the AI in front are really not getting away, so this is reassuring then at the moment. So why on earth is that the line the AI take through that final corner? Very funky line there. But yeah, pit lane entry Really, really tricky around here, but I don't think a drive-through is going to cost us too much either. Just because of the way the autopilot works inside this game. Let's back down through turn 1. There you can see Petrov now trying to hound one of the Ferraris. We are just trying to kind of stay close. Really intrigued to see how tyre strategy is going to play out in this one. But it worked for us just staying on the wets back in Montreal. But you never quite know. Oh, Massa! Felipe Massa's gone for a spin as I think the other Brazilian, Barrichello, just crashed into the back of me. So there we go. We're going to claim a freebie there then. As Barrichello will find his way through. No overtaking, so I'll make sure I don't do that again. But I'm so used to modern games, obviously giving you like an illegal overtake. And obviously, you know, giving you a bit of time to obviously get rid of the potential penalty. But F1 2010 has no chill for that kind of thing. But yeah, now we've got a bit of a gap behind, so I'm going to peel into the pits this time. Well, end then of lap 3 diving into the pit lane then here. But yeah, the pace in the car actually looks pretty good at the moment. It's trying to make sure that I don't get done for speeding on the way in. But obviously, yeah, we'll just keep our foot mashed to the floor then as we make our way down the pit lane. And we might still be inside your top 10 here. Heikki Kovalainen is now up to 9th spot in this race, so he's clearly having a pretty good way of things so far. Make sure we deactivate the limiter though, and look at this. Out of the pit lane exit, you've clearly got an insane amount of grip as we try to get the throttle down, but back out onto the circuit then. We are only down to 11th spot here, as Jarno Trulli now right in front of me. Well, it's actually Adrian Sutil then, sorry, in the Force India just in front of us, but, I mean, serving a drive-through, and hopefully we're still going to be back in the top 10 pretty quickly, as all Jarno try to defend that one. We go way, way deep into the corner, but Trulli spins! Jarno Trulli spins around now, so up then, back into the points we will go, and, well, I mean, Bruno Senna's not that far away from points at this stage. I think we've had another spinner. So the AI causing havoc here, and maybe by just staying on the island, we could be on for some decent points. The bizarre thing then, looking at the timings at the moment, is we now set up 154. It seems like Hamilton is really costing a lot of the guys right up at the front a whole bag of time then. So we just run a little bit wide through turn 1. That might invite Hulkenberg. Oh, yeah, there you go. So team now believe the rain is going to stick around then throughout the majority of this race. But Hulkenberg just able to squeak by. It seems like, yeah, he and a few of the other guys obviously around us, unless you're in that train at the front, I've got a lot more pace there as just try and squeeze him out on the exit. But I mean, look how bad the spray was down into turn 2. I almost broke like 100 meters early. I think everybody in front, though, is starting to close back in that pack that ultimately extends all the way to Lewis. As he got yellow flags out, we got another spinner. No idea who that is then that's gone round. I think it wasn't Sutil. I think it was one of the Ferraris. But that's going to bring us even closer. It was Fernando Alonso. Oh, we got another one. We got another one. Barrichello there has had an issue, and I obviously cannot overtake under yellow flags. Is it let me get away with that one? It's let me jump Fernando Alonso. I have no idea how it's let us get away with that one then. But yeah, Barrichello missing his wing. So he is now... He is now in the wars. And after such a good start to this race then, Rubens dropping down the order. And we are up to 8th. I'm so confused by the pace of the AI in this race. How on earth is Hamilton hanging on to the lead when we're going over, well, near enough 3 seconds a lap faster than him now? I guess at this stage I'm kind of hoping the weather conditions don't change around this circuit because we are flying up towards the back of the McLaren. But so is everybody else ahead of me. Sutil's going quicker, Alonso's going quicker. So it seems like obviously when the AI are in view, they seem to be a lot quicker. But as soon as they're not, they seem to slow down again. Very, very weird. But if we can get to the front, I'm not going to complain. Oh, someone's gone. That was one of the Red Bulls, I think it was, at the corner of my eye. No idea which one it was. But one of the Red Bulls then going for a spin off the exit of turn 1. And can we now try and capitalise on Adrian Sutil as well, who I think had to take a bit of evasive action on the exit of the corner there, trying to get out of the spray as best as I can. Is Kovalainen? Heikki Kovalainen's running up in P5 then as well. The other, one of the Renaults, sorry, I should say there, having a little bit of a moment as well. So Heikki Kovalainen could be on for a huge payday for him and the Caterham team here. We're still trying to defend from Sutil. Hang on a minute. Oh no! Someone else has had a spin. Jenson Button's gone round. We've had to try and get around him there. We're up to 2nd spot then in this GP. But what on earth is happening? here in South Korea. Hamilton's still leading the way. He doesn't seem to be that quick, but he just seems to be able to kind of hold people up until they make an error. Oh, there you go, of course. Now Hamilton decides he wants to get on with it again. That gap's still 6 seconds here, so we were going about 3 seconds a lap faster. Are we now going to lose time to Hamilton again? And are we going to be on the defensive there, as Adrian Sutil now up to P3? Could force India to be on for their first podium since the season opener back in Bahrain. But that must have been Vettel then that span. So Hamilton now has got a huge opportunity in the World Championship. Well, lap times then are definitely ramping up at the moment, but it does seem like Hamilton and I's speed is pretty similar. I think obviously, yeah, everybody now just getting more and more used to the kind of the grip levels increasing here, but still we've got half of this race to go, and it feels like so much has happened already. Are we going to be under pressure from Mark Webber then as we make our way in towards turn 3? I can hear him gaining on us, but we seem to be pretty good on the brakes. Oh, Webber! Mark Webber's had an issue! Mark Webber's gone! I mean, he might still be able to... I think he's still carrying on. But suddenly now we've got a bit more breathing room then away from the Red Bull. There's a 47.4 that time round. Schumacher still nowhere near the points, but I think, yeah, unless we see some changeable strategies here, we are just trying to make sure that we bring the car home in second. Sutil's now down to 5th, Webber's down to 6th, but we've got a decent gap over Alonso again. Starting lap 15 then, really now starting to think towards the end of this GP, but Hamilton, yeah, still just inching away from us a little bit more. We've got Button and Alonso now right up my trumpet as well, but I don't want to make the switch to the intermediate tyres in this race. I'm quite happy still on these full wets at the moment, so if any of the AI make that call, it could be make or break for our Grand Prix. I just want to avoid the pit lane as best as I can here. We've already been through once. Imagine if we win this race after getting a drive-through on lap 1. It does make me chuckle then at the moment. We are now running high 143s. Is that about what we were running in qualifying? Yeah, must have been, mustn't it? So we're basically as quick on full wets as we are in dry conditions on this game. The weather physics, I mean, when the track's really wet, they're not actually that bad. It just doesn't really do changeable conditions that well. Nobody still, though, is pitting at this stage of the race. And I feel like Fernando Alonso is getting very frustrated being stuck behind us. As soon as I say that, he's going to try and get all the way around the outside. And, well, Fernando's gone. I mean, I was hoping I could finish second here and cross the 100-point barrier. But I will not complain with a P3, as long as Schumacher doesn't score. Oh, Alonso's in. Alonso's into the pit lane. Everybody's pitting. 4 laps to go, and we're going to be up into the lead then of this Grand Prix, or 5 laps to go, I should say. But now, could we potentially hold off from Lewis Hamilton right towards the end? I don't know how big the gap's going to be. Surely going to be a good, kind of 7 or 8 seconds, but to the lead of the Grand Prix. Alonso and Sutton still seem to be battling through pit lane as well, but I am not going to pit this late on in the day unless it basically dries up right now and everybody else pits again. 3 laps to go then of this Grand Prix, and suddenly a lifeline has been handed to us. I mean, a 43-1. That's just a very competitive lap time at the moment. Hamilton's going even quicker though, so we might already be seeing some of these guys going as quickly as they did in qualifying, but Hamilton will be fuming if he cannot find a way back around us, because that will have been a complete just throwaway of a race from McLaren here, which would have given him a huge stronghold in the World Championship with 2 races to go. 18 points though still, and I don't even know where Sebastian Vettel is running. Hamilton still should be looking pretty comfortable as we head towards Brazil next time out. 2 laps to go now, and Hamilton is breathing down my neck. In fact, no, he's getting a run on us. Lewis Hamilton to the inside, back on the run in towards turn 1. Try and give him a big old squeeze. Whoa, come on. Try and get all the way around his outside once again. And look at that, the full wets. When we're off the kind of the better line, then we've still got more grip than Lewis Hamilton that time round. We are not going to give up at this stage of the day. I want to try and hang on for, what, win number 3 of the year? Oh, we just won. What, 1 more lap to go. Oh, no. Hamilton. Hamilton's hit us. He's lost his wing. Oh, no. Lewis Hamilton in trouble then. With just over a lap to go, and well, maybe I kind of slid back across the racetrack towards him, but I honestly wasn't expecting him to kind of try and position himself there. Lewis Hamilton Will he have to dive into the pit lane? Will he be able to limp back round? I mean, it makes sense for him just to stay out to the end. He's hit me again! Hamilton's gone into the back of us and he's out! Hamilton out of the Grand Prix with just 1 lap to go here. Drama towards the end of the Korean Grand Prix. And that's going to mean that Sebastian Vettel, even if he's not going to score, he's still going to be, you know, not losing out too much to Hamilton. He might actually retake the World Championship lead. Like I said, I got no idea where Seb is in this Grand Prix, but controversial contact with Lewis Hamilton then right towards the end. It's saying Alonso's pit, it's saying Hamilton that was down to P4. So, no, there we go, Sebastian Vettel's up to 4th then, so Hamilton is definitely out of this Grand Prix, but drama right the way throughout. And I tell you what, Korea then, for a first ever Grand Prix, this place has certainly delivered this weekend. I don't think many people would have predicted a HLT victory, but I just had a sneaking suspicion after the opening few laps that we were going to have some really, really good pace around this track. I don't know if that's Fernando or a lap car that is closing in on me at a rapid rate of knots on this final lap. We'll get a look now over the live timing. That is not Fernando Alonso, so I'm not too worried about who this is, even if they get the jump back on us then. But as we make our way through the final few corners, controversial contact with Lewis Hamilton. Like I said, I kind of felt like, you know, he could have been a bit more patient there. He could, you know, he had the advantage. He could have found a way around me. And ultimately, it made no difference anyway. Because obviously, into that final corner, he just completely shunted into the back of us and lost his entire front end of that car. It's one of the Toro Rossos trying to unlap themselves on the very last lap around this circuit. I'm not running any risk, though, at this stage of the day. Okay, clearly Buemi is, though, on the other hand. Through the final corner, though, we are going to claim the victory here in the very first Korean Grand Prix. That puts back the wrongs from last weekend out in Japan.
Amazing! Brilliant result, man! Nobody expected that! Well done!
Well, there we go then. I think Adrian Sutil and basically everybody else decided to pit on that final lap. Hence why the gap was so big. And it meant that Fernando Alonso and I ended up having a much more dominant race than I think either of us were really expecting there. Sutil, though, bags Force India's first podium, like I said, since I believe the season opener back in Bahrain. So great to see for them that they had a bit more speed today. Vettel will come through for 4th, just ahead of Jenson Button and Nico Hülkenberg, with Massa Alguersuari scoring points. Michael Schumacher bags 2, and Rubens Barrichello as well, despite some drama early on, still able to finish inside your top 10 there. Lucas Di Grassi only a second away from his first Formula 1 points. And then you can see further down the order, Mark Webber, a stinker, down in P14. It was Hamilton, Senna, Robert Kubica, Nico Rosberg, and Antonio Liuzzi. Liuzzi got disqualified, so no idea what he got up to during that race as well. World Championship-wise, though, we have now got a comfortable buffer over Schumacher, but at the top of the table, Sebastian Vettel now with an 8-point swing ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and that means now with 50 points still available, Jenson Button is not out of the championship hunt just yet either. He will need a win, though, and he will hope that Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton fail to score out in Brazil. Alonso looking pretty set for P4 ahead of Rosberg and Mark Webber. We are now, like I said, just 2 points behind Felipe Massa, 16 clear of Schumi, so I want to believe we're pretty safe for PA overall in the table. Adrian Sutil, though, now comfortably ahead of Vitaly Petrov. Robert Kubica there still in P12 as well, just ahead of Timo Glock. And I don't believe, with maybe the exception of Alguersuari, there's been too many changes further down the order. Constructors-wise, though, McLaren 50 points clear of Red Bull, so as long as they lose less than 7 next weekend, McLaren will be your Constructors' champions. Ferrari pretty much now locked in for 3rd ahead of Mercedes. We are 2 points back, though, behind Force India. What a story that would be if we could get the jump on them come the end of the campaign. I was about to do the outro, but of course, we've got a quick interview to do where hopefully I can try and prove to other teams that I'm worth signing. 3 wins in a HRT, though. That should probably do all the talking it needs.
Driving a Formula One car is challenging enough in itself, but when the weather turns against you, that's one tough day at the office. How did you deal with the conditions out there?
I think we handled them absolutely perfectly. I'm going to say we had a great setup, or you just have to cope with it, and that's
To
when
bring
it's
the
like
car
that.
home in first place today was a masterclass in car control with the conditions as they were. Was it as treacherous as it looked?
Yes, I think it's probably the best answer for that one. Personally, I would have stopped the race. I just tried to cope the best I could. And again, they're really trying to steer towards the HRT setup as well.
There's always a lot of gossip floating around in the paddock, as you know. Currently, there's talk of you moving teams next season. Is this something you would care to elaborate on?
Well, in theory, I reckon we should kind of be saying I'm keeping all my options open right now, but apparently other teams aren't liking that. So I could say at the moment I'm concentrating on my racing. I'm going to give it one more shot. I'm going to say I'm keeping my options open.
Hey, I've got some bad news. Colin Colas has emailed to say that he's withdrawing his contract offer.
That might be a problem. That might not be. I don't know just yet. Colin Collins clearly isn't interested in signing us anymore, but we have picked up a little bit of a claim with some other teams as well. Now, obviously, we will get a contract from somewhere. The game won't sack me ready for Season 2, so yeah, we'll just have to try and keep an eye out on maybe who will sign us, but hopefully, yeah, with that big gap over Michael Schumacher, we should be pretty safe. Thank you all so much for watching, though. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back then for the penultimate race of the season out in Sao Paulo.